Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, it's time to go back in time to 2014 and pull out a video and reboot it. And this one is Godzilla versus Gamera. Can and will it happen? Now, this is a reboot of a video I did many years ago where the title was Godzilla versus Kong, can and will it happen? And that video was done well before Kong Skull Island, well before we had any idea that Kong and Godzilla were going to fight. And I remember that video fondly because I actually, believe it or not, got a lot of shit for making that video. People were like, oh, that's not gonna happen, this is ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. And it's so funny because I remember when I did that video at the time, I said to myself, it seems to me so obvious that that's where this is going, because Legendary was making the Kong movie. So, you know, the Kong, at that time, Kong Skull Island. And it had just been announced. So I did the video shortly thereafter. And remember, we didn't really find out about that until much later. And then we got the confirmation in the movie at the end credit scene. So yeah, it was surprising that I got crap for that. Now this one's a little bit different because there is no Gamera right now remotely close to being released here in the States, especially by Legendary. But this is a question that always comes up. And I figured now that Gamera is on the return here, we got the update for the Rebirth animated show coming out. Obviously, I did a video about that earlier today. You know, I always tell people, there's always two questions. Number one, would Gamera come into the Monsterverse? And number two, will we ever see Godzilla versus Gamera? Now, Gamera coming into the Monsterverse is very, you know, I don't ever like to 100% say it's not going to happen, but I think it's unlikely, you know. But let's put it this way, if it did happen, it wouldn't surprise me in the least, you know what I mean? Right now, the monster genre, the kaiju genre seems to be like gaining momentum. It seems to be on a rise, but the downfall for the monster genre, I think, is that it doesn't quite have the legs like some of the comic books do, you know what I mean? Comic books have lore that goes back so many years and so many issues of comics. There's so many different stories you can pull from. And it's just not, obviously not as popular as the comic book genre, but it seems to be doing well. There are a lot of monster movies out there right now, and there are a lot of monster movies in the work. You know, we just got Troll late last year, which I thought was pretty good. There are some other monster movies that we have not had access to yet here in the States, like The Lake, right? There's also one, I forget the name of it off the top of my head at the moment, but I've spoken about it a couple of times, but it's actually like a kaiju comedy movie where I think it's called How to Get Rid of a Kaiju or something like that. It's supposed to be, for those of you who are fans of Maiko from Pacific Rim, the actress who played her is in that movie. And then you have a lot of movies in the works. You know, we're talking about Cloverfield is making a comeback. We're going to be getting a Cloverfield sequel coming out, direct sequel to the first movie. So that's exciting. A couple of years ago, you had Colossal, right? So there are, the monster genre seems fairly healthy right now. And it's no surprise that we're getting Gamera coming back. And also, to a lesser extent, Gorgo, which I think should be interesting to see if they decide to take that beyond what looks to be their own animated series for Gorgo. So, you know, you got the Monsterverse TV show, you got the Kong Skull Island anime supposed to be coming out. You got obviously a new Godzilla movie coming out this year from Toho. You got Godzilla and Kong coming out next year. So, I mean, the possibility, if there was ever a possibility for a Godzilla versus Gamera, it's gonna be anywhere from now to the next 5 years. However, I will say that if we were to ever get a Gamera and Godzilla movie, it's not necessarily going to be from Legendary, more so than it's going to be Toho and Kadokawa coming together and making it happen. I also think a lot of it depends on the success on the return of Gamera. You know, as kaiju fans, many of us look at Gamera as the second behind Godzilla, and I think we all feel that way, but that's not always necessarily true. You know, in some respects, Mothra is like number 2 behind Godzilla, and then maybe you have Gamera. So really depends how you look at it. I consider him number 2 in my opinion, and I always have a special place for Gamera above Godzilla in certain aspects because I always tend to root for the underdog. So it would be a very tough viewing for me to watch a Godzilla versus Gamera movie, because even though I'm going to root for Godzilla and I want Godzilla to win, there's going to be that part of me that really wants Gamera to pull it off. I guess what I'm saying is if they fought, I wouldn't be disappointed with whoever the victor was. But yeah, I do think there's an outside shot. You know, I don't ever, you know, I never say never. I know there's always never more people in the comment section. That's how it's always been. But after what we've gotten with the Monsterverse, after Sony and MCU striking a deal all those years ago to get Spider-Man back into Marvel, or at least Disney's version of the MCU, I don't think you can ever underestimate the power of money, right? So that's what it comes down to. Right now, I think I would hope, or I would think that Toho and Kadokawa would probably see the potential for a Gamera versus Godzilla movie. Now, if they wanted to maximize their profits, then yeah, Kadokawa would try and get another studio, or at least mainly Legendary, to pick up Gamera and make it happen, because I think that would probably maximize their profits. But again, Gamera, I mean, it's on my homepage. Just watch the Gamera, how I would do it in the Monsterverse video, to get an idea of what kind of responses you might get from that, at least in my opinion. But I wouldn't rule it out. But if it doesn't happen in the next 5 years, then it's less likely, because this current fever pitch for monster movies is going to come to a calm. This raging storm of success will come to an end a lot sooner than what's happening with Marvel. But I think if they wanted to do it in Japan, if they could pull their heads together, I do think it's a possibility. And I feel very strongly that we might get it. I just do. Again, that's a feeling. I don't want anyone getting the wrong idea. It is my opinion that, based on giving it a thought from a business perspective, I do think it will happen, but it does also depend on the success of Gamera Rebirth and how far Kadokawa want to go. I do think Kadokawa would have to do a live action Gamera movie first before it happens. I don't think Toho would want to carry Gamera out of the depths. I think they would have to make their movies to prove that Gamera can stand on his own. I know it sounds weird, but it's almost like, you know, Gamera hasn't been seen in so long. It'll just, if you're hoping to expand a fan base of monster fans, especially some that maybe haven't seen Gamera, to have him come out of nowhere and fight Godzilla would probably look a little weird to some people who are not in the know. So I do think Gamera Rebirth is an important aspect of bringing him back. I do think a Gamera movie, even if it's an animated movie, I think this buildup of Gamera coming back over the next several years, if that's their plan, is key to coming to the table with Toho and saying, look. But I do think Kadokawa would have to concede Gamera's defeat. I think if they did that, Toho would be open to it. Again, my opinion. I have no idea if that's true, but it's my opinion. But do I think it can happen? Yeah, I do think it can happen. I just don't know if it will. You know what I mean? I just, you know, it's very slim, but I'm not ruling it out. After seeing the way things happen over the years, I'm not ruling it out. I do think the fan base has an important role to play in that as well. I mean, with Twitter and social media, this is a perfect opportunity. You know, if you want a Gamera versus Godzilla movie, start hashtagging that shit. Start it. I mean, remember, we had the hashtag continue the Monsterverse, you know, which started off last, you know, back in after the Godzilla versus Kong, and we weren't sure what was happening. So, you know, not to say that probably played a role, but it helps, you know. So I don't know, maybe somebody take the reins, hashtag Godzilla versus Gamera, make it happen. You know, you could use that. I've started hashtags before, so why not? Why not? So anyway, but that's it for this throwback video. If you want to see the Godzilla versus Kong original video that helped this idea, I'll leave it in the description. It's old school, so I don't even know. I think I've only seen it like twice or 3 times. So, but yeah. And again, if there's a special Godzilla 2013 to 2014 video that I did, anywhere from 2013 to 2015, early 2015, that I did that you liked, one of your all-time favorites, let me know. I will rehash it, or at least try to rehash it and reboot it into a current Monsterverse or current monster topic for our 10-year anniversary here on the channel. So until next video, this is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.